Round Marsh. Good news. CRMC has given us $15,000. Carol we got the grant. She put in a grant for $26,000 to augment the Round Marsh restoration project. They gave us they're giving us $15,000, which is good. And she also talked with Laura Ernst, who used to work for CRMC, then went to work for ESS, Environmental Science Services, and now works for somebody else. I can't remember who it is. But she called Carol, seeing her name on the grant, and told her that the company she works for has a lot of the equipment that we need. We thought we might have to buy equipment, like mats to put over the marsh before they run the equipment out on the marsh. And she said there may be an opportunity to rent, borrow, use that equipment for free. So that will save some of that money, because that $26,000 that we put into CRMC was to basically cover the activity of pulling out the dredge spoils out of the marsh ditches and putting it into the upland sites. And it was going to be like matting and things like that for the equipment to run over. So there may be some opportunity there. So that's pretty good. But it's nice to get that money. We should put a press release or something out on that. Maybe.
That'll be my headline tomorrow.
No, $15,000 grant from CRMC. That's good money. And that's in addition to the $59,000 that we've already gotten from NRCS to do the whole program.
That's great.
They gave us that. This is all Carol. Yeah, well, Carol Trocchi's initiative to write. She wrote the original grant, original proposal, and then we went to CRMC for another habitat restoration grant to augment, and so that's a good chunk of money.
What is our stance on Phragmites? Total war on Phragmites?
Now, what's going to happen? The reason why CRMC liked this project so much was that we're not using any sort of chemical control for frag. We're going to use seawater.
Well, but this is the presentation we saw at the invasive thing that the gal gave at Point Judith. It's a great success, exactly what they did.
Yeah, if you go over, well, or go over to Third Beach, I was over there today, the Phragmites at that area by the old dump, 7 inches tall. It used to be higher than you could stand it. It was
You
like,
could get the Phragmites at the turnpike too, or just you can get all that Phragmites and cut a hole underneath that road.
That's right.
Don't bother with the ditch digger, get it like
a we have to do what we can do.
That was really amazing.
Anyway, I haven't heard any more about the restoration project, but we did have a couple of meetings, and I think it's moving along.
Okay.
Thanks to Carol for pushing that. Fort Getty Committee's been disbanded. Obviously, you're going to put together another committee.
Shall I do an epitaph?
Are you? Yeah, I mean,
well,
I don't know.
You guys know it's been disbanded.
Right.
We were I believe that their master plan was done. There was considerable discussion after that, and I think I apprised you of all of it, of the things that we discussed. And now it's been determined that we fulfilled our charge, and
time for a new committee.
Yeah, and we had talked about the survey, the much anticipated survey, and that's not going out. I personally feel that's a mistake, and really depriving Jamestown residents of having a voice in how that park is managed. But beyond that, I don't know what to say.
Is that part of the comp plan survey? Do they have any Fort Getty plan questions? You don't have to look now, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were some questions in the comp plan survey about Fort Getty, because that would guide.
Well, it's my understanding that the town council is going to move forward with the plan that the master plan that dates from 2005, which the committee deemed was very faulty. Had some real issues, and obviously, we felt that that the present configuration was not the best one, and that we should put a survey out to Jamestown residents again. And to the best of my knowledge, there are no plans for certainly the survey.
Fort Getty falls under the question of
parking and
parking questions,
recreation and bike paths or something like that.
Parking.
Yeah.
Well, you might.
And that was because there had been surveys done in the past. So what was the need for yet one more survey? Was that the story on that?
Yeah. Well, the survey had gone out, and I think the council's position was that was adequate. The results that they got back right, and as we discussed that, the survey went out and it was filled out by Jamestown residents, and it was filled out at least allegedly by campers as well. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that's what was discussed.
The only other Fort Getty specific question is under economic development. Number 1, Fort Getty, do you support a multi-season facility and campground?
And campground.
/ campground.
Put it all under the same.
What's that?
Well, you know what you might.
That's the way
Well, you might ask if they would tease that into two questions. I mean, it's like a multi-season facility, yes, but a campground, some people might say yes, some people might say no, so it's, or they might say yes or no on the multi-season facility, I don't know, they've lumped it all together into one question,
Yeah.
which doesn't give people much of a choice. They either say no to everything.
It's the only
yes
town park, and they've relegated to C in the list on question 15.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's really unfortunate, and I don't think we should necessarily not make some comment. But I guess I've just sort of been waiting and trying to see, you know, what they intend to do. Because maybe they will form a committee, and maybe they will put out a survey, but I doubt it.
Well, they're talking about forming a committee, but I haven't heard anything.
Well, I think they ought to. And, you know,
but they're a little reluctant to form another committee maybe because they've already had two.
well, that's an easy argument to make,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
but it's not necessarily the right argument.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily, just because two other committees came up with master plans, which ultimately were not implemented, does not mean that, you know, that we shouldn't engage in some long-term planning at Fort Getty that never, ever occurred. Ever. You know, it was never planned out.
Right.
So, I think it's too much of an asset just to allow.
Why don't you keep your head to the ground on that since you have an interest there and let us know what's going on.
Yeah, well, I'm there. You know, I'm off the committee. I mean, there is no committee.
I think Mary sent a letter to the council requesting to be involved in the next committee or something. So
Yeah,
we'll see what
I
happens.
get the impression that old committee members would not necessarily be reinstated. So that was just my report, and we'll have to see how it goes. And you know, if opportunity presents itself to speak up again as a committee, then I'm sure we'll take advantage of it.
All right.
I'd like to think so.
Since that committee's been disbanded, and this is not on the agenda, but last time we talked about, are you interested in a harbor?
Yeah,
Poor Chris, he's done.
No, I mean, I get letters from the harbor clerk, and they would like a
And when do they
representative
meet?
from the commission. Kim sent me a thing last time, and we
Tuesday.
talked about it at our last meeting,
Tuesday, we don't.
and you said you'd let me know what your thoughts were.
because I meet with the tree committee on the third Tuesday.
Let's see what Kim says. Here it is, Kim. Harbor Commission is meeting with liaison to represent the Conservation Commission, the Harbor Commission. Our meetings are held on the second Wednesday of each month.
That's
So
the
it'll
second
be
Wednesday.
the day after our, we're on the second Tuesdays normally, so if you just.
Well, I can certainly, if no one else is going to do it, I can show up to meetings as I can. which
Well,
will-
Maureen said
no,
she'd
no.
split it with you.
Oh, yeah, I bet you'll be able to do it.
Well, I'd like to be able to send them something and just say that we have two
Yeah.
people that are interested in doing
Because
it.
remember at the last meeting, Maureen
Did
said
Maureen say
yeah,
she-
she said she'd split it with
People
him.
interested? Or would you,
They probably want a rep plus a,
an alternate?
well, you could say a rep plus alternate. You want to be the rep and want her to be the alternate, or?
Possibly, yeah. You have to put it around that in front of you.
I think I asked you last meeting to give us some idea this meeting, which that's up to you. Wait, let me know, because she'll probably send me.
Well, it's too bad Maureen's not here. I think that, you know, between the two of us, we should be able to cover that. Are they long meetings? No, it doesn't matter. They all go 2 hours. Doesn't matter what committee it is, what they're talking about.
Anything longer than 2 hours, you lose people anyway, so.
Yeah, sure.
All right, well, let me put that down, and I'll check with Maureen and check with you. If you guys are interested, let me know so I can say.
I'll be one half.
I can send a memo into Kim in response to her memo.
Which
saying
half,
that
you know, I'll
we have
discuss.
two people that are interested in doing it.
Yeah, I'll either be the alternate or the principal, depending
Okay,
on.
then it's up to you guys to coordinate then who's gonna go to which meeting.
I'll talk to her about that. I'm
Why don't
sure
you
if
give
that's,
her-
if you're not, you know, if you're amenable to, having, you know, both of us try to cover that
At
responsibility.
this point, we have nobody.
Yeah,
And if two people are interested, that would be really nice.
well, that might even second
It's
record.
better than none. Okay, all right, let's move on.